welcome to a new episode of the Woollentwine Fibrestudio knitting podcast. My name is Jule and I'm the dye and maker behind Woollentwine Fibrestudio, which is a small creative space located here in northern Germany where I play with natural dyes and natural yarns. Welcome back if you're a returning viewer, and a warm welcome to everyone who just found the way here to my little channel here on YouTube. Just so you know, I am welcoming you to this new episode, which is not a knitting related episode, but rather a little preview video of everything that was prepared over the past couple of weeks. Because for those of you who might not know, I am a yarn dyer who works with only natural dyes, botanical dyes, and non-superwash and plastic-free yarns. And how it usually works is that I dye over a couple of weeks, and then everything gets available in my shop. And in order to have a bit more of an overview and show the colors more in depth, I record these preview videos where you can see what was prepared for the new collection. And since this one is a rather big one, I don't want to bother you too much with a lot of intro stuff, but just so you know, this is actually, I think, the third or fourth attempt of me filming this episode, because we've had some issues. There is a big construction site next to the studio, and they were drilling all day yesterday, and then I started to try and record in the afternoon, but then the lighting was really crap, and then I was like, okay, let's try again tomorrow. And here I am. So if I sound a little bit weird or something, I'm nursing a little summer cold currently. Nothing serious or anything, but just so you know, if I sound a little bit raspy or something like that, that's why. But yeah, speaking of summer, the new yarn collection is inspired by late summer and kind of transitioning into autumn a little bit, and I'm super excited to share this with you because we dyed a lot of colorways. And I guess without further ado, let me give you a little bit of an overview of what will be available in this update. So first of all, in order to have a little bit of a baseline, we are restocking our BFL Romney base, which is a custom spun yarn that we got made, and it's a blend of Blueface Leicester and Romney sheep fibers, and this is apparently custom spun for us, so it's an exclusive yarn, and it's available in a 4-ply and a DK weight. I'm going to give a little bit more of a recap before I present all the colorways, but this is our, let's say, staple sweater and accessories yarn. Then we'll also restock our custom spun, non-superwash and plastic free sock yarn, Ovis Sock. And also we have a little special around that, but I'm going to share that with you later. And we are also going to share our cruelty-free cloud silk mohair yarn as a restock, which is a classic silk mohair yarn, but made with cruelty-free silk and completely traceable and ethically sourced mohair fibers. So yeah, those are the bases that are coming in this update. And yeah, I guess without further ado, let me show you the colorways. So the first range of colors I want to share with you is on our BFL Romney base. As said, this is a blend of Blueface Leicester and Romney fibers, spun with a slightly looser twist in order to have a nice drape. And it is also not superwash and plastic free, and it has 400 meters per 100 grams in the fingering weight version. And we have also a DK weight version that is 240 meters per 100 grams. And I'm going to share all the colorways in the 4-ply version, but we have them in the DK weight version as well, so they will both be available on both weights. Yeah, so there is enough versatility for you to choose suitable patterns for. Speaking of patterns, there is also a pattern suggestion page for this base, though I have separated it into DK and 4-ply weight by now. So I think the best way would be to go through the base page on our website and click the base that you're interested in, and then you can get a couple of pattern suggestions that I have grouped in a little Ravelry bundle. So all of that will also be linked below if you're curious. But I guess let's start with showing you the colorways. Okay, about the colors. First of all, we are going to restock the undyed version of BFL Romney, which is this one, and it's a beautiful warm gray beige, like a grayish if you want to say it that way. Relatively neutral, but more on the warmer side, I would say, than on the colder side. It's very pretty, I think. So this is the undyed shade, and it makes a great base for all the other colors if you want to use it in a colorwork sweater, for example. So yeah, we're restocking that one. And then I guess I will start with a couple of neutrals, because I kind of was really inspired by thinking of, you know, combining neutrals with some pops of color for this collection. And so let me start out with neutrals that were dyed. So this one is more of a purpley kind of neutral. It's called Shell. And yeah, it has a bit of a purple pinkish hue, but I would still consider this to be a neutral. And it's a great base for example, if you want to combine it with pinks and berry and purple tones in a colorwork, for example. I believe this would be really great. Next up, we have another neutral, and this one is Sand, and it's similar to our other beige that is called Almond, but it has a bit more gray undertone. Almond is a bit warmer than this one. So this one is Sand. I don't know if you can see it maybe better here. It's a bit more grayish in undertone than Almond is. Almond is relatively warm. But just so you have a bit of an overview, I'm making sure that I can share them side by side. So this one is the undyed silvery gray beige. Then we have Shell in the middle and Sand on this side. Just so you have, I'm also going to show the undyed and Sand and this way. Just so you have a bit of an overview of how they play together and how they compare to each other. So yeah, these are the neutrals. I'm going to do my best to kind of juggle everything around without you seeing my mess. But I guess next up we're going to continue with the lighter shades and then work our way through the more saturated shades. So this one is a new shade, and it's a warmish yellowy green, and this is called Pistachio. I really like how the heathered effect of the yarn shows through with the lighter colors. So this one is Pistachio, very summery, I'd say. And next up we have another green, which is slightly more coolish in undertone, and this is called Avocado. Still in the warmer side, I would say, but it's, yeah, and this one also has a tiny bit of variegation throughout, I would say, and shows the heathering really well. So this is done side by side. So this one is Pistachio and this one is Avocado. I hope this is visible. Yeah, so far about those. Staying in the kind of like greenish color family, we have a very new shade that was a bit of an experiment, and I actually really like it. And this one is Swamp, and it looks a lot more brownish in camera, I would say, but it's actually more greenish in real life. It's something between a brown and a green, I would say. I hope it picks up on camera somehow. With natural eyes, it's always a bit tricky. But yeah, it's a very murky, kind of deep dark, greenish, brownish color. But not in an olive way, more like a khaki type of color maybe. So yeah, that's Swamp. Next up we can start with a slightly more brownish shades, I'd say. So this one is a new one, and it's a light neutral brown. Picks up a bit more reddish on camera, I would say. It's a bit more neutral in real life. But this one is called Bark. Next up, we have a colorway that was originally designed to be on our summer base linen, which is, by the way, really low in stock. I think we have like 3 or 4 skeins left in the DK weight and a couple in the 4-ply, and it won't come back before next year. So now's the chance, kind of. Then we have this one, and it's called Hickory, and it's also a neutral brown with slightly more saturated than Bark. These are them side by side. I don't know if you can see. Again, it picks up a bit more reddish than it is in real life in camera, but I hope it's still visible. So yeah, Bark and Hickory are like 2 nice browns. And then we have another brown that is kind of a one of a kind, because it has happened. I mean, I was able to dye it on both bases, but it's still like more of a one of a kind type of colorway, as natural dyes are usually. And this is called Chocolate, and it's an even darker brown than the other 2. So I'm trying to make it visible that there is almost a bit of a brown gradient going on here. Again, probably less red in real life than they appear here, but yeah, these are Bark, Hickory, and Chocolate in one row. Kind of giving me autumn vibes already. So yeah, those are the browns. I'm dropping them down here so I have a little bit more space. Then we have another, like staying in the one of a kind kind of region, we have another one, and this is also actually going to be called one of a kind, because this is the result of having another colorway first and not really liking it, or at least not seeing it within the collection that much. And then I decided to over dye it, and this is the outcome. So it is a one of a kind. It's close, I would say, from memory. It's close to our auburn colorway, but maybe a little less red in undertone. Not really sure, but yeah, this is the one of a kind for this collection. It's still available on both bases, but yeah, since it's I do over dye regularly, but in this case I don't think I would try to make the first color again, because it didn't really resonate with me, and so I think this won't ever happen again. So yeah, this is the one of a kind therefore. So yeah, now I guess we're transitioning with this one. We are also transitioning into the slightly more saturated and more pops of color. So since we just shared a couple of autumnal shades, let me stay with that and show you the next one. This one is called Pumpkin, and it's a beautiful rusty orange. It's a bit more saturated on camera than it is in real life. I'd say it's a bit more muted and goldy in real life. But yeah, it's a very nice rusty orange. It used to be available on Ovis Sock last year, so I thought I could also dye it on this BFL Romney base, and I think it would be so nice with the other, let me pick one more, the other autumnal kind of shades. I'm kind of envisioning this in a color work, maybe also with a warmish neutral. So yeah, I'm a little bit in an autumn mood, I guess. So yeah, but this is Pumpkin. Next up, we have another slightly darker colorway, and this is actually a new one, and I'm very happy with this, even though it turned out different from what my first vision was, but it actually grew on me quite a bit, and now I actually really like it. So this one is Berry Jam, and it's, yeah, a berry. A nice pinkish berry with some colder undertones, and I think it's very, very elegant and pretty. So yeah, Berry Jam on BFL Romney. I think this is really nice. Next up we have Hyacinth, which is a very bluish type of purple. that I also think is super nice for a bit more of a neutral purple. And then staying in the kind of flower inspired colorway region, we have Rose Garden, which is our like muted, beautiful, soft pink. It has a bit more of a warm, peachy undertone almost. It's very beautiful. And last but not least, maybe one of my favorites from the collection. When I took this from the drying racks, I was just so mesmerized. And this one is Poppy. Again, the reds always show up way more punchy in real life, on camera than in real life. But maybe back here it's more visible. It's a very nice, warm red. Pretty clear red, I would say. But more with warmish undertones instead of cold ones, I would say. And I think it's just so cool. I'm holding it back here because I feel like it depicts the color maybe a little bit better. So yeah, this one is Poppy. And I really, really like it. I'm kind of seeing, like, even though this is maybe rather bold, but I'm kind of seeing a color work in these. I don't know, but it's very nice. So these are Hyacinth, Berry Gem, Rose Garden, and Poppy next to each other. And by the way, for those of you who are interested in it, as you're seeing a lot of pinks, some of you might know that in natural dyeing, a lot of pinks are actually achieved by dyeing with bugs, like for example with cochineal bugs. And I am a vegetarian myself, and I kind of didn't like the thought of that. And so I was like, in the very beginnings of my natural dyeing journey, I did dye with cochineal as well. But since I'm like not really happy with that idea, I really experimented with a lot of other options on how to achieve pinks and reds with plants only. So these are all also like not, I didn't crush bugs for these. So yeah, these are all like vegetarian friendly colorways, I would say. Does it make sense? Anyhow, so far about the colorways on BFL Romney. I think they are very summery as well as like neutral. I think it's a nice selection that you can actually pick, like whether you would like to combine more punchy colors with a neutral, for example, or you want to have more of like a fade situation. I think we've got you covered. And yes, those are the colorways on BFL Romney. So I guess without further ado, let me jump to the next section. So next up, let me share the colorways on our Cloud Silk mohair with you. This one is a base, it's a lace weight, and it's available in 50 gram skeins, and it's 420 meters per 50 grams. In this base, we have a couple of colorways, and I think it's a very nice fadey colorway situation. And I kind of envisioned this to also work in a way that you can have some more like mild effects with some of the shades on BFL Romney if you like. But it's also very nice to combine with Ovis Sock. But yeah, without further ado, let me start sharing the shades with you, like starting with the slightly more neutral colors again. So this one is the colorway Silver Birch, and it's a relatively warmish gray. And this actually goes perfectly with the undyed BFL Romney. It's a very nice combo to have these two together. And apparently there is a design made in this yarn combo currently by my friend Dorothy of Adorable Knits. I'm going to link her down below. So yeah, make sure to check out her Instagram for the tested application, because it might be up already when the video is up, or at least it's going up relatively soon. So yeah, this is the original yarn combo that she used. So that one is Silver Birch. It would also go nicely with sand, I believe, no, with shell, I believe, if you wanted it to be even more grayish. Or we also have the corresponding silk mohair in shell as well. Keep in mind that the bases have different undertones. So Cloud is a white base and BFL Romney is actually a grayish base, as you saw in the undyed. So they always, like, they don't turn out exactly the same. But this is shell on Cloud and shell on BFL Romney. Very nice neutral. Really like this one. So yeah, that one was shell. Next up we have some more like purpley, oops, let me grab them, purpley type of shades. This one is lilac and it's a very bluish light purple. I think it would be quite nice, let me grab it, with hyacinth with a little bit more of a marley effect. So to soften up the darkness of hyacinth maybe. Not the darkness, but the saturation. Could be quite nice, I guess. Next up we have Heather, which is this one, and it's a light rosy purpley type of shade that's visible. I don't know, it's less purple than lilac, but it's also not a straight up warm pink. It's more of a coldish pink, and it reminds me of the buds in a heather, so that's why it's called that way. Next up we have this one, and this one is called Hibiscus, and it's a nice, more saturated pink. And I think it would actually go quite well with either Rose Garden or actually with Berry Jam. This would be a very nice combo, I think. So yeah. Next up we have another colorway, and this one is called Wisteria, and it's an even more saturated purple, pink purple. So it's a bit more bluish in undertone than Berry Jam, but I actually think this is also a really nice combo. Alternatively, you could also hold it with hyacinths, I believe, to warm it up a little bit. So, or actually hold it double. I'm currently like knitting something in Cloud held double, and it's beautiful. I'm test knitting the Brioche Bliss wrap by Simone of Rust Knitwear, and I think it could be very nice in this color as well. Like, I'm envisioning this for some reason. So yeah, this is Wisteria. Let me try to not make a mess over here. Next up we have this shade, and it's called Geranium. You can definitely see the color inspo over here, I guess. So yeah, this is Geranium. Could also be actually quite nice to soften poppy a little bit. I really like this one, this combo. Or even you could use this one, and it's called Dahlia, because it reminds me of like the autumnal dahlia shades that I've seen. And I think it would also be a very nice combo with poppy. Bit more rusty than poppy, but I think it could be very nice and elegant. So yeah, so far about the reds and pinks and all kinds of flower inspired colorways. Let me transition a bit more into the more other warm shades that we made. And this one is Peach, and it's like a golden type of peachy orange, but also like quite wearable, like almost like a bronzy type of peach. I really like this one. Then we have Saffron, which is a very nice warm golden tone. I'm not sure if it's picking up properly. It's a bit more reddish, I think. But yeah, it's a very saturated golden shade. And then lastly, we have Bourbon, which is a golden brown. Not sure if it's picking up. This is maybe the most accurate depiction of the colorway, but it's nice and warm and very autumnal, I believe. So this one is Bourbon. And now to the last two shades they also match with some, or not match, but they would work with some on BFL Romney. So this one is pistachio, the more muted, warm, grayish green. I really like this color also on its own. I think it will also make a beautiful brioche bliss wrap if you hold it double. And then we also have avocado, which is a bit more clear green, not as muted as pistachio is. Let me hold them side by side. So this one is avocado and this one is pistachio. And I think it looks very nice together also. Kind of, you could even like hold them double and marl them together maybe. Definitely a very pretty combo. But yeah, so far about the shades on Cloud. I was thinking of maybe holding all of the pinks, so you can actually, do I have them all? Oh no. Do I have them? So you can have like a bit more of a gradient. This would actually also make a pretty fade, I believe. So yeah, left we have lilac, next is heather, then in the middle we have wisteria, next to that we have hibiscus, then we have geranium and dahlia here on the side. So I hope this helps with kind of finding the right shade for yourself in all these reds and pinks and purples. But yeah, so far so good. I think that is it with the colorways on Cloud. I guess I'm going to continue and show the colorways that we prepared on our Ovis Sock base. Okay, on to the last section for the colorway showing. These colorways, the next ones, are available on our Ovis Sock base, which is our custom spun non-superwash and plastic-free sock yarn. It has a 375 meters per 100 grams, and it's a blend of 50% Cheviot and 50% Jacob sheep, spun to a slightly higher twist in order to be more durable for socks, despite not having any nylon or plastic in it. So this yarn is also available in 2 shades that I can dye on, and therefore we have a bit more freedom to create more shades. But I also wanted to say that we're restocking both of the undyed shades as well, because they are very nice to combine with some of the other colors. And so we have the undyed ecru, which is a creamy white that looks a bit blown out right now. But yeah, it's just a creamy white. And then we have the undyed gray, which is a cool toned gray that is very nice to dye on also. And I'm going to show it next to BFL Romney, and here you can see the difference of Ovis being relatively cold in undertone and BFL Romney being a bit more warm beige kind of. So yeah, this one was sold out for quite a while, so we're restocking that. That makes me quite happy. And the undyed ecru, I believe, is always a good choice to get in order to combine it with other colors, and I'm going to show you an example of this actually. But yeah, these are the 2 undyeds. About the dyed shades, let me start out with the lighter colors again. So this one is Peony. It's a light, beautiful, warm, rosy tone that's very nice on the gray base, I think. It looks a bit less saturated on camera, I would say, but it's actually a nice pink. So this one is Peony. Would actually also go very well with some of the Cloud shades. Let me get heather and hibiscus. These would be quite sweet with these, I guess. So yeah. This one is Peony. Next up, we also dyed Hyacinth on Ovis, our bluish undertone purple. And I think it's also really cool on the darker gray base. Then we also have another purple, so we also dyed Wisteria on Ovis, and this is on the white base, so it's a bit more punchy, if you will. Here you can see like this is hyacinth and this is wisteria, and how punchy it looks on the white base compared to the gray if you dye a purple on the two bases. So yes, that is that. We also did a kind of experiment on the other with another tone, and this one is actually pistachio on Ovis, on the gray Ovis. Nice warmish type of green. And we also dyed avocado on the white Ovis, so it's a bit more saturated, if you will, and less muted. But I actually really like this shade. I think it's so fresh and summery. So yeah, pistachio and avocado combo also on Ovis. Next up, this might be one of my favorites from the collection. I think I might have to keep one for myself and make a pair of socks, but this is Dahlia on Ovis, and it's like a nice, it turned out like a nice terracotta red on the darker base. Let me see if I can actually compare it with the silk mohair. Yes, this is very pretty as well, I think. So yeah, this is Dahlia on Ovis Sock. Oh yeah, this shows the color best. So yeah, I really like this one. I might have to keep one for myself. No, I will be good and keep it for you. But next one, I also like this one a lot, and this is Berry Jam on Ovis, and I think it's so nice. It's really nice and saturated on the darker base as well. Let me hold it next to the BFA Romney version. It looks quite different, right? So yeah. Every fiber takes the dye different, by the way. Like, not only the base color makes a huge difference, but even if it's 100% pure wool, it turns out completely different sometimes. It really depends on each fiber that's in the blend. So it's so interesting. But yeah. This is Berry Jam on Ovis Sock, and it's also one of my favorites from the collection. Last but not least, we also have some neutrals. So this one is again bark, and I think it looks more true to color on Ovis than it does on BFA Romney for some reason, at least on camera. So it's more of a deep caramelly type of color. And we also have Hickory, which is a neutral, slightly darker and a little more reddish brown. So this is bark and this is Hickory, and these are the two ones that we also dyed on BFA Romney that is somewhere here. I'm currently sitting surrounded by little piles of yarn everywhere, so excuse the mess, but yeah, these are bark and Hickory, and I think they're very pretty as well. So, ooh, is the light going a little too bright currently? But yeah. So far about the single colors, but we also, this is something I do relatively rarely, but I wanted to have something special to kind of say goodbye to summer and have something resembling late harvests, wilting meadows, and you know, the last berry harvests of the summer, and kind of celebrate the change of seasons, if that makes sense. And so I dyed some sock sets also resembling this theme, from, you know, slightly more neutral kind of wilting meadow type of colorways up to some more punchy berry tones that remind me of, you know, late harvests in the late summer. And yeah, to celebrate this change of seasons, we made some summer sock sets. They don't have names, they will just be numbered because they are one of a kind anyways. So make sure that you maybe note down the number of the one that you actually like. And I also thought to showcase them in a way that we made a little sample of what you can, for example, do with one of the sock sets. And to do so, I very thankfully have a sample that my mom knitted for us, and these are the Ludo socks. And they are designed by my friend Ines of Verdknit, and she made these very beautiful, playful, but also elegant socks. And they kind of, like, they are a bit more sporty, summery in my eyes, which I really like. And they have this little contrast in the cuff that I think is really sweet to peek out of your summer sneakers, for example. And then they have a white or like a contrasty toe. And they actually hug your foot really nicely because they have this ribbed detail going from the cuff to actually the foot portion also. So they fit very, very well. And they are actually originally designed also in Ovis Sock, which is quite nice. And you can get them on Ravelry currently. I'm making sure to link the pattern down below. But yeah, I think this would be a great pattern to use for a sock set with a little bit of contrast and then still very minimalistic and very elegant, I believe. So yeah, these are the Ludo socks. Very happy with this sample. Thanks, Mom. And thanks, Ines, for the beautiful pattern. But yeah, we also made a sock set that's relatively like that you can use if you want to make a similar color to what we made. And so this one is summer sock set number 1, and it features an undyed ecru white, little mini, and the beigey, warm beigey kind of main color. I love this one. It's actually, I know it might feel kind of simple, but I think if you turn it into something like this with the low contrast of the details, I think it's quite elegant. So yeah, this is sock set number 1. Then we have another neutral that I think is equally elegant, and this is sock set number 2, and it's like a more pinkish beige with a caramelly brown mini. These all come tied with a little linen tie, by the way, in order to make them look pretty. They will have a label on it though, but I always feel like it's better to show them without the label so you can actually see the color better. So just to compare the two, this is summer sock set 1, this is summer sock set 2, this is a bit more neutral, warm golden beige, and this is more pinkish beige. So then we have one last neutral, and this is summer sock set 3. I know this might not feel very summery right now, but don't worry, these are just the 3 neutral ones, and then we have some more punchy ones. So this one is like a grayish type of main color with a more reddish, rusty kind of mini. And I think these also would make a really pretty pair of Ludo socks. I don't know, but yeah, let me share them side by side so you can see the neutral sock sets, if I can somehow manage. So yeah, this is sock set 1, summer sock set 2, and summer sock set 3. And please keep in mind these are relatively limited because I cannot make them very often, so they are all little one-of-a-kind gems. But onto the more colorful ones. This one actually reminds me of a blossom with a stem, kinda. And this is summer sock set 4, and it's a nice pinkish, let me put it back here, this resembles the color better. It's like a salmony, warm, muted pink with a light neutral green, no, not neutral, cool green mini. And it kind of reminds me of a flower on a stem, which is quite sweet, I believe. So this is summer sock set 4. Next up we have summer sock set 5, which is a pink purple mane and then a berry purple mini. Also really like this one. Let me put them back here. And then we have summer sock set 6, which is a deep dark purple with a lilac mini. So these three are the more colorful ones that really remind me of berry harvest. Like this one reminds me so much of blackberries, and yeah, I think it's so nice. Let me also share those side by side. It's a bit hard to hold them up. But yeah, these are sock set 4, 5, and 6. So they will just be listed as summer sock set 1 to 6 in the shop, just so you know. So yeah, I'm quite happy with them, and they were a lot of fun to make. Even though it's always quite labor intensive to make them, I just really enjoy them, and I believe each of these would make a really pretty pair of Ludo socks. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing if any one of you would like to join me in the Ludo Socks club. I'm actually really envisioning these in my white summer sneakers, with the little white detail as well. I think it would be quite sweet with like a neutral colored linen dress, or even a darker one. Yeah, so that is my summer outfit inspo. But yeah, I guess, yeah, I should maybe give you the meterage or like the amount info on the sock sets before I get into the last like admin type of section. They have the full set skein of Ovis and a 20-gram mini of, also of Ovis Sock. It's the same base, but this is like 100 grams and this is 20 grams. Plenty to make a pair of Ludo socks, because you apparently only need a few grams to make the contrasting parts, and I think you should even have something left over in case you wanted to make like a matching another pair even with the same contrasting color or something like that. So there's plenty in the sets to make them also in a larger size. And yeah, 120 grams of sock yarn goodness in each of these little bundles. So I hope you will like them as much as I do, and will enjoy working with them as much as I enjoyed making them. I don't know, I can't stop looking at them. I always love them. But I should stop rambling and just finish up with a little admin section at the end. All right, that is almost it for this preview episode today. But I should also share that this is the when all of this is launching, and the August collection, which is all of this that we're currently, just showed that we're currently having, it will launch on August 16th at 8 p.m. CET. That is the German Berlin time zone. And yeah, that's when everything will be live in the shop. And yeah, I hope there is something for everyone, and I'd still recommend, especially if you are looking after some of the specials, it might be recommendable to be on time for the update. And yeah, I will start packing on Monday after the update went live, and then we'll do my best to get everything out as quickly as I can, because, and this is just the last announcement that I have for today, I will be on holiday in the first week of September 2024, and therefore we will have a little shipping break of a week. The shop will remain open, everything is fine, but just so if you're eyeing something from the collection, you want to make sure it ships quickly, then maybe order after the update went live on the weekend, because I'm definitely going to ship out everything until the 30th of August, and then there will be 1 week shipping break, and then we will be back on the 9th of September, just so you know. But yeah, that is it. I'm really looking forward to sharing this collection with you, and I hope you will love it as much as I do. Without further rambles, I guess, hope you'll enjoy. Happy knitting and have a great late summer. Thank you. Bye.